Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com. I own the bestemailmarketer.com, but the best email marketer is someone else. He is Ben Setter. In fact, he's not the best, he's the galaxy level. No, that's an understatement. He is the multiverse level best email copywriter. So, Ben, welcome to the podcast.
Well, I appreciate you thinking I'm that highly esteemed in the totem pole of email. I appreciate that. And thank you. That's all I can say about that.
First question. Can you share a story of someone using affiliate launch Copynomicon who was afraid to mail aggressively and later he or she thankful that they mail aggressively, exactly like you mentioned in the book?
Well, there's been a lot of people who've used that book. I don't know if they want me giving their names out necessarily. It's not like the thing with what I teach in that book. Let me back up a little bit here. With that book, it's funny because there's nothing sexy in it. There's nothing new in it. There's nothing complicated in it. It's very, very simple. In fact, it's a very thick book. It's like, I don't know, 700 pages, but a lot of that's just examples, right? And so it's only like 100 pages of actual teaching. So people who have been using it, and I launched that in like 2017, I believe. It's just based on very, very simple direct response marketing. So for example, when somebody gets it, and I just sent it, for example, to one of my customers, Tom Woods, for example, because he's one of our affiliates at Low Stress Trading. And I'm like, well, I want you to, I'm like, I want you to do well at this, obviously. And so he went through it and he's been using aspects of it, that he had not been using before. And if it only takes one or two little tidbits of knowledge where it's kind of like leverage. Like, for example, I'm a big fan of leverage versus force. And most launch is all force. Like, oh, can you do this trick and get all these people on social media and all these joint venture partners and coordinate it all and this and that. And the oops thing on Monday, the cart's open again because there was a mistake. All this bull crap. I don't do any of that. What I teach these guys is to just mail your list in a certain specific way, which is really simple. None of this is like even secret. Do it in a consistent way, structured way, and show them respect their time. Don't play any stupid, silly games like, oh, the cart we had a glitch, and so we're reopening the cart. All that stuff. It's nonsensical. Now, I know people fall for, I get it. To internet marketers, that is cool and sexy and all that, but you can't stop. You got to not think like an internet marketer. You got to think like your customer. They may even fall for it. They might even be like, well, okay, well, I guess I get to get in late or something. But does that really help the customer? No. Having a very set deadline, enforcing it, mailing up to that deadline as much as you're comfortable mailing your list. And some people don't have to do it nearly as aggressive as I do. It's fine. And you're just showing some respect for them. You're showing them, here, I got this thing, I'm launching it, or it could be an affiliate offer. It could just be a special sale and anything. It's all the same. And here's the deadline. Here's an email about the problem that it solves or about somebody who you solved their problem with it. And here's how to get it, maybe at a discount, maybe with bonuses, maybe both, by a certain date. And that's it. I mean, I just summed up the whole book, right? Now, there's details there. There are devils in the details, but that's basically it. So to give you examples, I could pull it out right now. Let's take a look. You want to know actual people who have used it, right? So okay.
Who are afraid to use that before, like afraid to mail aggressively?
Well, I think everybody's afraid to use it aggressively at first because most people are I got the book in front of me now, man. It's a big monster in case we need it for something. But people are afraid to do anything. Well, I don't know, man. You tell me. Times have kind of changed on that. I'll say this, over the last year, especially, this entire industry has changed in both good and bad ways. One of the ways that's kind of good and bad, it's good that people are not afraid to mail as much. It's bad that their emails suck and so that they're kind of ruining it for the rest of us. But I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but you've seen it. You've probably said, dude, you got my breakneck content book. I know you know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to be unreasonable, but you have a lot of people who just, for years, man, I was like the lone wolf in the wilderness for the most part. I mean, there's always some people who were doing it, but who was even advocating daily emails. It was like, I can tell you right now, 10 years ago, that was considered taboo. I was like the guy who was getting mocked. Oh, it doesn't work. Nobody needs to do it. This and that. You're not going to do, because these are people who don't know how to write emails or hate writing emails, and they need to justify it. But when everybody realized they could just start using generative so-called AI to start, I'm not going to call it writing emails, but whatever you want to call it, they're crap. But they're doing it now because they can, right? Because they can get stuff out fast, and they think just good enough is fine, and it is until it isn't. Eventually, and people are starting to see this now, quality has to step in, and people will just start sorting their emails by quality. And people who are just putting out nonsense or just good enough aren't going to last, I don't think. So to bring that back to affiliate launch Copyonomicon, now people are not so afraid of the daily email. Now they're overdoing it. Okay, so you call me the galaxy class email guy, but I'm gonna step down a little bit, because in my opinion, the all-time king, the high king of email, the reason a lot of us are doing it, whether people realize it or not, is the great Matt Fury. No question about it. He is the king. I humbly say the crown belongs to him. And I can tell you, he once said something very, very interesting. Now, he's an old school practitioner of Chinese martial arts and all that, kung fu. And he quoted this, I guess it was a Chinese proverb. I don't know how old it is, but where he said, his strength overextended becomes a weakness, right? And there's a lot of truth to that. So yeah, daily emails are great. Frequent emails are great, but it's not like you're going to send 24 in a day every hour, one per hour either, right? Law of diminishing returns kicks in.
Hmm.
So that's my thought on it.
Okay.
Anyway, did I answer your question, man? I don't know. I just
Yeah,
went off on like, I went off on like a couple tangents there, but whatever.
yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so for someone who is not mailing their list on a regular basis, like they are only doing once or twice a month or once a week, is it okay for them to use what you have shared on your book to quickly bank up unusually big payout?
Yeah, but you also have to use a little wisdom too, because if somebody joins your list and they have the expectation, and they've been experiencing this expectation since joining your list, that you're only mailing once per week or twice per week or 3 times per week, you can't just start throwing daily emails at them, right? Like, again, you have to always go back to, am I respecting my list? Am I respecting their time? Am I respecting? If you don't have respect for them, I would say find a new list, because it's very important that people respect their list, as if, it's treat them as if you would treat yourself, right? And if you're on a list expecting 1 or 2 emails a week, and that's what you're used to, and you start getting daily or more than one per day, that's jolting, right? That's not what you signed up for. So in that person's case, I would warn my list a few times at least. I'm going to start doing more frequent emails, whatever it is, if it's going to be daily. Just let you know, I got so much I want to share with you. I can't do it justice once a week. I promise to respect your time. I always try to respect your time, but this is what I'm doing. If that's a problem, it's okay. Just go ahead and just opt out. Here's the link. You'll find that, yeah, there'll be people who opt out, but they were not the people who are ever going to buy from you anyway, in my experience. So that's how I would do it. Yeah. What did I answer your question in
I
full there?
Yes, you answered my question. Okay,
Okay.
when someone join our email list, okay, so is it okay to have instead of like a welcome sequence, I mean, having a welcome sequence, but welcome sequence should be like a launch, automated launch. Is it okay to have that?
You're talking about, like, instead of a welcome sequence like people have, it would actually be a sort of pre-evergreen launch sequence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can do that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. Again, as long as you're respecting them and their time and fulfilling the expectations of when they opted in.
Hmm.
So first of all, there's a lot of ways you can do email. You don't have to do it necessarily the way I do it. At the end of the day, and I know this because this welcome sequence we're discussing, that's actually a launch for something, right? Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're writing emails they wanna read and you are giving them a good experience wherever they click to, those are the 2 most important things, in my opinion. Everything could be fine. It should be fine at least, right? You're not gonna make everybody happy, but I don't see anything wrong with it inherently. It's not the way I do things. It's not something I would personally recommend doing for a whole variety of reasons, but I also understand a lot of people in email they don't wanna work very hard, so they like to have things preloaded, and I get it. I get it, like, I understand it 'cause I have done that in certain businesses as well in the past. It's never worked as well as the only welcome sequence, for me at least, is a welcome email that basically recites just reprints exactly what I'm gonna do for them and, tells them where to get the bonus I promise, and then after that, it's all just broadcasted unless I have some kinda special sequence set up as far as a special sale or launch, but even
Mhm.
those are just broadcasts. They're not like set it and forget it at all. Every day is different.
Okay. You know what? Here's how I'm building my list. Okay. So right now I'm building my email list with only qualified people who I can do joint venture in the future, whom as a partner, and I will do all the email sequence, I mean email launches for them. So I'm building my list by doing interviewing them. Okay. And since I'll be too much busy doing joint venture for doing affiliate copy for other people, I wanted to have a automated welcome sequence for me where I will sell my service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm doing that just what I learned in your book, Affiliate Copynomic.
Okay. That's an interesting way of doing it, actually. You know what? As long as it's working for you, personally, me, I would still write a fresh email every day to my main list because
Mm-hmm.
life change. I mean, understand, man. If it's evergreen, you're gonna miss out on things going on right now in their lives, right? And I'm not saying you can't do what you're doing. By the way, I think it's actually a very clever way of using. Excuse me, of using it because you want to spend your time writing for the clients. It sounds like. Unfortunately, man, that's the problem with service providers is that when you get to be a service provider, sometimes it's tempting to not do your own marketing at the expense of the clients. And that's just the battle you'll always have, right? It's not a good
Yeah.
thing or a bad thing. It's fine, but it's just, so I get it. You're trying to make your life easier, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give a piece of wisdom that was,
Mm-hmm.
I did not make up what I'm about to say. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
taking credit for this, but so my business partner in the software, I have 2 software companies.
Mm-hmm.
And my business partner, Troy Broussard, he is a Navy nuclear engineer turned software designer, right? Brilliant, scientist, like an actual scientist
Mm-hmm.
as a like he's out there in the ocean or something might blow up if he doesn't use the scientific method. Okay. Let's put it that way. And so he translated, and then he went and worked at Encyclopedia Britannica as their executive director of technology, right? And so he understands all this at a level most of us will never probably get it at least, certainly me, I won't at least. And the one most important lesson I have learned working with him for 5 years now, almost 6 years now, is what's easiest when you're making software, what's easier on the developer will make it harder on the end user. And the easier you make the end user's life, the harder you're making your developers' lives, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's just how it goes. And so you translate that to service providing, like copywriting or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to make it a little easier on yourself, but I think you're probably making it harder on would-be joint venture people because you're not speaking to them in the here and the now. You're using evergreen information, which I assume is good information. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
questioning that. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying things are happening so rapidly that are affecting their lives right now that you will do more of a service for them if you write them fresh. And I know that's a lot of time and you may not have the time to do it. It's good, better, best, right? I'm just saying
Yeah.
that ideally that's what you would do.
Okay. That makes sense. So, what do you like better? Like before you were providing service, copywriting service for your clients and doing JV, and right now you are only writing to your own list. So, how's your life different before and now?
Well, it's much better now. I hated working for clients. Now, look, let me be fair though. I mean,
Mhm,
I got really lucky with most of my clients. Like the people I worked with were some of the best, brightest. I learned a lot from them. I would never take that away. I would not trade that experience for anything. Okay. But I freaking hate working for other people. And being a service provider, it's a glorified job, right? You're still technically an employee and your income is dependent on them actually being successful enough to pay you in some
mhm.
cases
Yep.
and them not trying to pull any shenanigans on you. And you got to filter your ideas through them. And you could see them making the biggest mistakes ever. And you know it's a mistake, but they heard from some idiot guru that you need to do it this other way. I mean, I'm sure you understand exactly where I'm coming from here.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
right. And so at the same time though, man, I mean, if you're learning and you're getting better at your craft and at marketing and you're working with smart clients,
Mhm.
it's worth it to do it for as long as you want. But eventually you're going to be like, I could just do this myself and keep all the money instead of getting, I want to, okay, I'm going to do a tangent here that's related. Okay. It's very
Mhm.
important because I don't know how many service providers are going to be listening to this, but I hope it helps them. I hope it helps you, quite frankly. And so again, I did not invent what I'm about to say. Okay. This is from somebody else, the great
Mhm.
Bob Bly. You know, Bob Bly?
Yep, I read
Okay.
about him.
Okay, good. I mean, he's just a great mind. Okay, let's put it that way. It's just
Mhm.
bottomless bag of knowledge. So he was being interviewed by my friend Michael Senoff. I don't know if you know Michael Senoff, hard to find seminars.com.
Yes, I know him
Yeah.
through you.
Okay, good, good, good. Then I'm just, but just for the listener, right? Just so everybody knows. So this was many years ago. I think it was 2009 actually, where Michael interviewed Bob Bly in this two-parter. And they got to talking about clients. And Bob quoted some friend of his. I don't remember his name, so I'm just going to give Bob credit for this, even though he heard it from his friend. Okay, so
Mhm.
yeah, I just like to be accurate with this. So he said, I can work with clients who are arrogant. I can work with clients who are ignorant. I cannot work with clients who are both arrogant and ignorant. Now I'm going to unpack this because this is so. I hope that this really makes people's lives easier to hear it as a service provider.
Mhm.
An arrogant client in this context is arrogant because they actually know what they're doing, right? They earn their arrogance, put it that way. Like they've probably seen it all. They've made all the mistakes. They've tested all what the gurus say and realize it's all horse crap. And they know what works because they do it. Now that kind of client is usually not very likable. I can just tell you right now, I've worked with many of them and I couldn't stand these people, like
Mhm.
personally. Now I'm talking about like not as people, but just as someone I had to listen to. But in every one of their cases, I learned a lot that I would never learn from a book course, seminar, or anything else. Okay. And there were a couple of them that I actually did get along with quite well, by the way. But overall, saying that the arrogant ones, you don't need to like them to learn from them. And if you get one and they're teaching you stuff, I mean, you are getting a education where you're getting paid to learn. And that is a great spot to be in. Now, grit your teeth, you might get humbled a little bit. That's good. That's all good. Now, there you have the ignorant client. The ignorant client knows they don't know. They know nothing about anything, and that's why they hired you, and they just kind of stay out of your way and let you do what you got to do. Another great client to have. You're not going to learn anything from them. Okay. They're pleasant. Like yeah, just whatever you think. You know,
Mhm.
you're just like great, and you don't have all these stupid objections. Now, you got the ignorant and arrogant client. These are the worst because they think they know what they don't know, and they will drag you and your reputation and everything else about you through the mud. And when
Mhm.
everything goes to hell because it doesn't work because they forced you to do their way, they will blame you for it. They'll then blame you. So my point is you want arrogant clients and ignorant clients. You do not want ignorant and arrogant clients. And that is a huge, huge life lesson that I wish I had learned, 7 years prior to that when I first got into it.
By the way, in Steal Our Winners interview, you talk about bipolar email, where in the morning you will send an inspirational email, and at the night, insecurity email, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it to my main list because I don't that yes, and now let me unpack that a little bit for context. It works on markets where it's a very specific problem you're solving. I solve too many problems to do too many different kinds of people at bensettle.com. Like there's no way that would work. But I did it in weight loss all the time. I have a client who teaches method acting and he has these really like $15,000 method acting boot camps. And when I taught it to him about 10 years ago, and he's been using it ever since, he makes bank off this. It's a very emotional market, actors and actresses. And so I told him to do that. And he went from making no sales in December, or maybe one sale every December, to like, I don't know, he made like 100 grand that month. And then the next month he made like 300 grand. Just it doesn't mean every business is going to have that kind of success, but that tells you the power of what we're about to discuss here. So anyway, go ahead if you have more to add to the question, go ahead.
No, that was it
Is that
about
it?
that
Okay.
question. Yeah.
So that basically what you're doing is creating this is going to sound bad, okay, but it's true. And before anybody gets on me about this, realize the news is already doing this to you. Social media is already doing this to you. They're doing it in unhealthy ways to you. My way is healthy, okay? And it's benevolent. Okay, I want to pronounce this correctly. Benevolently abusive is what I call it, because you're giving them highs and lows. This is what an abusive person does. You're not being abusive, but it is something abusive people do. Is where in the morning I want to inspire them. I want them to feel good, right? With an
Mm-hmm.
inspiring story or something. Usually maybe a testimonial from someone, a really dramatic example, or just whatever. A story about a real life person in that market who overcame, challenges that most people would not be able to. And then that's fine. They're feeling good. They see my offer. They're like, huh, you know what? I might get this offer someday, but just not today. Well, at nighttime, before they go to bed, I drop the doom pilled, everything's going to hell in a handbasket email and something that might even depress them a little bit or a lot and scare them. It really depends on the market you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So now they go to bed and they're scared all freaking night. They fall asleep in a very agitated state if you do this right. And then when they wake up to your nice sunshine email, it's like now you're switching it again. And so they're going to keep reading you most likely because you've got them in that state. Social media is doing this to you already. So the TV is doing this to you already. Okay. This is not new. Okay. It's been going on forever. But if your intent, because you respect your list, if your intent is to sell them something that you know in your heart of hearts is going to solve that problem, whatever that problem is, all you're doing is giving them a vision of that problem and giving them a way to solve it, which, is what you sell. So that's the whole thing. That is absolutely one of the most powerful things I've ever done and taught.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it is on Steal Your Winners, Steal My, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting technique.
Okay, so how can you able to went through one book 10 times? Because I was trying to do that, but after two and three reading it, like it's really hard to focus. Like I start reading sentence incorrect again and again. So how it can study 10 times?
So like when I talk about studying books and courses and all that 10 times,
Yeah, exactly.
well, Ben, I don't know what to tell you on that. I mean, it's just repetition. And so it helps though the first time you go through something to just go through it casually. Just take it in, right? Don't try to remember everything. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the read through. Okay. The second time you go through it, now you take notes. Third time you take more notes and, just keep going through it. When you get to the third or fourth or fifth time, you're going to find it goes much faster because most of the questions and notes and ideas you've gotten have already been written down.
Mhm.
But and you're starting to see things differently. Oh, you go through something 10 times, you're going to have a mastery of that book or course or whatever that probably the person who wrote that book or course doesn't even have. It's a very interesting phenomenon. It didn't occur to me until, well, luckily I learned this real early on, like 2004. when I was studying Eugene Schwartz, the copywriter. And he would, when he was assigned a book to write an ad for, he would go through it 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times. And I thought, well, why not just ratchet it up 10 times? And so I don't know, at the number, there's something magical about 10, where you get to that 10th time, you're actually going to see things you missed the first 9 times. And if it's really good, I would say go through it once a year after that. But I know that I get what you're saying, man. My mind wanders too sometimes when I'm reading or something. When that happens, just take a break. Take a few minute break, go to the bathroom or something, or just check your email or something, and then come back. You'll find you'll be back on track. That's normal. Like, it's just normal. We're human beings, man. We fatigue. It does
Mhm.
happen, but don't let it stop you because you're on the right track. Fight through that shit, man, and you'll be fine.
Okay. Like okay, almost a decade ago. So, you are an introvert. You get energy when you're alone. So, how was that time you're writing approx 20 content a day? Because I'm guessing you are not living alone. No, okay, you are living alone, but how can you able to do that?
Be an introvert.
Yeah, being an introvert, writing 20 plus content a day.
Well, so man, so it's very easy for me to be alone. Okay, it's like, and I know that's not the case for everybody because they draw energy from talking to people and all that. So that's just an advantage I have. But what extroverts have is the gift of gab. Okay. I do not have the gift. I have the gift of gab while I'm talking to you one on one. I do not have the gift of gab when I'm in a room full of people. Okay. At all. So extroverts are already creating all kinds of content. They don't realize it. They're not thinking because they don't think this way, right? They're externally, they think externally. This is not a slight on them, by the way. I wish I was extroverted. Dude, I'd be making like 10 times as much money if I was extroverted. Believe me, I wish I was extroverted. But you know how extroverts are always out there on social media, constantly typing, constantly posting, right? Just they're constantly posting. And it's not even like a content creation thing for them. They just need to communicate with people. Some are worse than others, but all that content they're posting, as you know, can be turned into emails, articles, whatever, products, courses. So, for me, it was very easy, man. I just got to find a corner where I'm not going to be bothered by anybody. And so that's how you got to do. And if you can't find that corner, put some headphones on and just block people out because this is your work, man. This is the most important thing you can do every day as far as that goes. And you don't want other people to get in the way of that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Me and many of my audience are like them, like list owners. So, um, when doing barter with someone, like, what kind of relationship we should have? Like, if it's okay if you have like one time conversation and after talking with them for 20 minutes we can talk about barter, where I do something for them or they do something for them, and in exchange they will mail our opt-in page to their list.
You know, this is always going to come down to this is where I believe someone should listen to their gut feeling, or as the woo woo people would call it, their intuition. There's nothing magical about it. Like, your senses have been bringing in information since you were in the womb. If you get like a warning in your gut, it could be body language related. It could be something that you're noticing without consciously realizing it, that's like something's off.
Mhm.
The bottom line is, man, personally, do you know who Terry Dean is? Have you ever heard of Terry Dean?
I remember, I guess you interviewed him.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably heard me mention him once or twice,
Yeah.
if nothing else.
Uh-huh.
So he's one of the pioneers of internet marketing. He was he had the proverbial, being hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt as a pizza delivery guy. He somehow borrowed money to get a computer in 1996. So we're going way back. And he figured out the internet marketing game. Very, very shrewd, very wise person. Like, I highly recommend everyone look up Terry Dean and learn from him because he's very, very sharp. I mean, the guy has, like, I just look up to him. I think he's great. And so I had a chance to interview him many years ago. And I asked him a similar question. Well, we were talking about joint ventures.
Mhm.
And he gave me an answer that I personally follow. Now, this may be a little extreme for everybody. Okay. This goes to your comfort level. because you don't, this is your business. You don't want to just hand it off to the wrong person like that, right? You don't want to give the barter thing. You're going to be investing time. Okay. You can never get that time back. So he said this is very interesting about joint ventures. He said, if I couldn't trust the person with my house keys for 30 days, I'm not going to joint venture with them. And I thought, wow, man, that's kind of extreme, but you know what? It's very smart. That's my thing. So a few hours, like at half, no, I personally wouldn't. That does not mean though that you should not. Okay. That's just my comfort level. I don't sell stuff as joint ventures unless, in fact, I take it a step farther. I have to use the product myself and have
Mm-hmm.
benefited from it, because there's a few exceptions to that, but it's very rare. And even in those exceptions, it's like someone I know very well, right? And I know they're going to treat my audience good, and I just don't care enough about the product's subject matter, but my audience might. And so I do that once in a while, but for the most part, I want to use it. And I want to not only use it, their product or service, before I barter anything with them, I want to have paid for it too, so that I approach it like a customer. Now, that may seem a little extreme. And, if somebody's just starting out, they may not really have the funds for that. And you got to do what you got to do. Okay. Let me be very clear about that. It just depends where someone's at. Me personally, I just wouldn't do that. But, it depends on what you're bartering too. Is it a big sacrifice on your part, or is it something you could do real quick?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of nuance to the question, but overall, that's how I look at it.
Okay, that makes sense. So, tell me, like, what's your current favorite sock effect subject line? And you cannot talk dirty to me, or I think about in the shower.
Shock effect subject line. Well, probably the one I wrote and I've used a few times, The Secret Gay Life of ISIS. Or no, it was the secret gay life of copywriting gurus, because it was swiped from a Drudge Report headline that was The Secret Gay Life of ISIS. And Secret Gay Life of Copywriting Gurus. That that one definitely got a little bit of attention. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm, I'm gonna
That got
use
open.
that one.
Yeah, that one got open, man. I mean, there was a time when that was a lot more risky. It's not anymore, man. You cannot shock people anymore. Like the
Yeah.
shock effect subject is very hard to pull off now than it was compared to a few years ago, because I blame Twitter because Twitter got bought out by Elon, and there is no restriction on speech on there. And so people just there's nothing to shock anyone with anymore. It's all been
Mhm,
said. So I blame Twitter for that, but you can still shock people, but you can't really shock them like necessarily with crude stuff.
mhm,
You can shock them by saying something that's so crazy that they're either instantly going to think you're an idiot or that you're a genius, and they don't know what until they read the email. That's what I would say.
hmm. That's great. I find a really good idea. Okay, Ben. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And for our listeners who want to connect with you, join your email list. Where can they go?
Oh, they can go to bensettle.com, and if you opt in there, you'll get an opportunity to download my free mobile app, which has like 30 hours of content on there, all free. And I'll send you a digital copy of the first Email Players newsletter. It's a print newsletter, but I'll send you a digital copy of the first issue. There's like 24 ways in there to make more sales with email. It's easy to just pick one or two and run with it. You can see if I'm full of crap or not. And that's at bensettle.com.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And Ben, I have one question for you. One last question.
Absolutely.
When would you start shipping your product all over the world? Because right now, if I want to get your book or your newsletter, I have to deliver it to someone who is living in US, and I receive that after 2, 3, 4, even 6 months later.
Well, what country are you in again? I forgot.
Right now, I'm here at India.
So if I have a country blocked, and that's one of them, 99% of the time, it's because shipping is an absolute nightmare getting it there. And it's not the customer's fault at all. It has nothing to do with that. Sometimes people take it personally. It's not personal. It's just that there's a 50% chance you won't get it at all. And then there's another 50% chance they're going to make your life harder by being dicks at the customs and all that. And there's
Mhm.
another chance that they're just it'll get mangled or destroyed. And it happens so often that I just say, "No, I'm just not," until something changes. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, man. It's not like I can't do this for everyone. I'd be spending all day fielding shipping problems, and I just can't do it. So that's why.
Yeah, and even if you're failing, the chances are someone is going to, steal it or destroy it because this book, like you saved it 2 times. That's how I received it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, it just unfortunately international shipping, and I hope this changes, but I'm not holding my breath. Okay. It's just getting worse and worse. And every country is just I think they're starting to close up a little bit
Mhm,
and make it like there's some country like Russia, for example, you can't even ship a book there unless it's to a business address. Right. And how the hell are they gonna like it just these things become such a like hassle. It's just I don't know what to tell people. But, that may change. You never know. I mean, I try to use FedEx as when possible, but their service has gone straight down the tubes too. And they're like the last hope for everybody. So I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, sorry about that, man. It's not personal. It's a headache for everybody, including the customer. And I just got tired of it.
yeah. By the way, like, what do you think? How much it's important to have a high energy while writing a copy?
It's not necessary to have high energy writing because you gotta be who you are, right? Some people are type A high energy writers. That's me. I am a high energy guy when it comes to
Mhm,
writing. Even when
mhm,
I spent years with low energy because of like thyroid crap and going on, I still with writing, I could be high energy. But there are people, very brilliant people, who are like type B. They're very low energy. It's not the how you write it, but what you write that matters. And at the end of the day, you got to be you, right? And
mhm.
however you write, that's you. That is you at the essence, and that's what you want to accentuate. You don't want to try to be someone else. You want to be you. And if that means you're just slow, low energy, but it's interesting, that's fine. As long as it's interesting, as long as you're not boring people, you're going to be just fine. Let's put it that way.
Okay, man. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
All
And
right.
it was really great chatting with you.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.